The SP404 came out around 2009, and for the last 12 years or so, it has been a cornerstone in the music making world for both professionals and hobbyists alike. Research has shown that it is the leading cause of stank face among men and women 45 to 25 years old. To this very day, even with modern competitors like the Digitact over there, it is still an extremely popular sampler and is very well loved in our community. Now, I can completely understand if you've never owned or ever played with an SP404 before, that you have no idea why the hell everyone is still raving about this and are wondering what the hell we're smoking anyway. After all, we are talking about a pretty old sampler with very limited polyphony, no USB or MIDI out, no real DAW integration, and the world's most frustrating sequencer. Well, in this channel, we try to see beyond the specs into what makes music gear special, or not. So today, I'm gonna give you 5 reasons why I think you should still love the SP404SX in 2021. If you're already a subscriber, big welcome back. If this is your first time here, hi, welcome to the Midlight Synthesist. Let's get started. Number 1. Easy to learn, hard to master. The SP404 is nothing if not straightforward. All the buttons have their functions and their sub-functions clearly written out on the front panel in easy to read big letters. All the layout is pretty simple and intuitive once you get the hang of it. What's even better, there's pretty much no such thing as menu diving on this thing. You could probably learn all there is to know about the functions of the SP404 within just a couple of hours, and that's if you want to be thorough. But the beauty of this machine is the ways in which you can twist and turn its functions into creative new audio mangling techniques and music creations. A pretty cool thing about the SP404 being out for quite so long now is that YouTube is just filled to the brim with video tutorials and people showing you their tips and tricks on how you can get the most out of this thing. Personally, I really get a kick out of watching Ricky Tines just go apeshit on the SP404. Feels like witchcraft at this point. Ricky, if you ever see this, come on man. You're speeding up those videos, aren't you? And if you aren't speeding up the videos, damn, kind of feel like one of those sloths in Zootopia now. Anyway, I've always heard that for something to be entertaining and engaging, it has to be challenging enough so that it's not boring, but also not so hard that it's frustrating. And I feel that playing around with the SP404 is just right in the center of that middle ground. Number 2, the sound. Now, I know that this is very subjective, and of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But honestly, this thing just sounds amazing. Whatever sample you run through it just gets this magic element to it. And I think that that's the main reason why it's still relevant today. Its effects are lush and warm, and they don't feel cheesy or dated at all. And I think it's pretty safe to say that the vinyl effect on this thing is probably one of the most iconic and easy to spot effects out there. It's definitely one of the machine's biggest perks. And this leads me nicely into my next point, which is hands-on effects box. Even though the SP404 is in essence a sampler, where it really comes alive is when you learn to tweak all the effects on the fly. The effects become a real part of your performance. You see, in guitar pedals, I usually just set and forget. And I like one preset, maybe tweak it around a bit, and that's it. I don't touch it again, just on or off. Instead, on the SP404, the effects are meant to be tweaked and played with. The knobs give you a truly immersive and tactile experience, and honestly, there are a few groove boxes out there that can compete with the level of fun that you can have just chilling out with this thing. Number 4, one-upping the competition. I think I'm not wrong in saying that the Digitact is perhaps one of the most important and well-loved samplers to come out in the last few years. And I feel it is pretty much a main competitor to the SP404, even though it is a bit more expensive. Rightfully so, since it has the Elektron sequencer. If you want, I could do a full in-depth comparison between the two in another video. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. However, since we're mainly focusing on the SP404 in this one, let me tell you about a few things that the SP404 can do that the Digitact cannot. Stereo sampling. Though I personally don't think this is a big issue at all, the Digitact does sample in mono, while the SP404 samples in stereo. True portability. Besides being extremely light, durable, and compact, the SP404 can actually be powered by your typical AA batteries, which makes it just ideal for those on-the-go jam sessions. Long ass sample time. The Digitact can only sample up to 33 seconds, while the SP404 can sample up to 180 minutes. So that's pretty much massive difference. Expandable memory and memory card streaming. The Digitact has a fixed non-expandable hard drive where you can store all your sounds. However, for you to be able to play back and assign those sounds to the pads, you have to first load them up into its limited RAM space. The SP404 on the other hand relies on SD cards, and it plays directly from the card, so you can actually have entire albums set on just one pad. And also, you can have multiple SD cards with sets of sample packs just ready to go. Last, but definitely not least, it is one of the most fun music boxes that I've ever come across. Now, I'll be completely honest, it is never the first music box that I go to grab when I want to make some music. And that's because, as with all samplers, there is a bit of prep time before you can actually start having fun. Finding samples, cutting them up, and when everything is pretty much set up, then you can just jam away for hours on end. But when I do grab it, and when I do invest the time in fiddling around with it, it's just smiles all across the board. And sure, it doesn't have the bells and whistles that your Elektron boxes or your MPCs or machines have, but what it doesn't have in complexity, it more than makes up for in friendliness, straightforwardness, and just simplicity in having fun. Well, that's my take on the SP404, but how about you? Are you watching this video because maybe you're thinking about getting one down the line? Or maybe you have one and you're not showing it that much love lately? I'd love to know about it in the comments, so I'll meet you down there so we can keep the conversation going. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and maybe even subscribing, because it really helps the channel grow and I really like being here. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. I'll see you in the next one.